Hey, what's going on guys? John here, and today I'm actually going to do a video review of the BESTISAN subwoofer. So in this video, I'm actually going to cover the instruction manual, we'll take a look at the subwoofer itself, we're going to do a music demo, and then I'll just give you my overall thoughts. So let's first start with the subwoofer itself. This isn't particularly a large subwoofer, but it actually hits pretty good, and I find that so far from my testing, I've been very happy with it. Just as a comparison here, it's sitting next to a little clipped bookshelf speaker, so you know, not overly large, but still good enough to provide some nice bass. You do have a fairly good size length power cord. This has a larger brick that you can see I've got plugged in over here. On the back side, I'm just going to flip this around just so you can see all the different connection options and different things that you can set here. This is the main cone woofer here in the back, and then you actually have basically your volume of the subwoofer. You've got a power button here, and then you also have this low pass option here. So I'll get to what that is here in a bit when we go over the manual. You then have your line in, and then you can also utilize the typical RCA jack. So depending on your connectivity method, I'm simply just doing an RCA cable into the back of this Onkyo receiver, going into the line in port for the subwoofer. And then you also have this phase option. So again, I'll explain that when we get to the manual, and then you've got your power. So I'm going to go ahead first and we'll do just a little demo. In fact, I'll just kind of leave this here as is. I have some metal music and volume probably about a little over half. We can turn the volume up a little. It's probably about 75% there. All right, so it gives you some idea there, playing a little bit of metal music. Overall, you know, I can definitely feel the bass. In most circumstances, you'll probably have something like this on the floor, but this is kind of a custom setup I have out here in my garage where I'm utilizing this. But let's go through the manual. So in the box, you actually get several things. Obviously, this guide, your power, and then you do have a stereo RCA to a 3.5mm, just typical aux. It does go through and explain everything here in the back, which we already did. It shows you various connectivity methods. So basically I'm using the subwoofer cable method, which is not supplied, but again, I just used a typical RCA cable. It explains utilizing the sub out, and then it does show other connectivity options here. So you could use, like, for example, a subwoofer, or if you wanted to use this provided cable, you could go directly into a laptop, use the laptop speakers, and then have some bass if you wanted to go that option. So they show you all the different connectivity methods. Now, in terms of some of the other adjustments and some of the things here, you do have options here. It's going to automatically turn on and off, so it goes over all that. You have your main volume, pretty straightforward, sort of the adjustment for deep, powerful bass without the boomness. And then they have this low pass. So this will actually control the frequency range at which the subwoofer operates. It says when using smaller speakers, the upper range of the control will probably yield the best results. With larger speakers, the lower end will probably sound best. Always let your ear be the final judge. So it says, you know, vocals sound thin, turn this up, but maybe, you know, you can kind of play with that. So that's basically, I believe that is the low pass is actually this dial here. So you can kind of mess with that. And then you also have that phase switch, which is this switch down here. You have, it says here, sit in your favorite listening position, play music, not a movie, with a walking bass line. We recommend jazz or country. Now listen carefully for the point at which the subwoofer transitions to your main speakers. This is the crossover point, and this point should be below the frequency of a male human voice. Whenever phase setting sounds louder or fuller at the subwoofer's crossover transition point is the optimum setting. Sometimes no difference will be heard. So this is obviously going to be dependent on what it is that you're listening to. You know, typically I'm either playing games, like I have racing stuff here on this TV, or video games, VR, things like that. That's what I'm kind of using this setup for. So may or may not affect some of that, but you can kind of play around with these settings. But overall, I found the quality of this to be actually really good. You have a lot of different settings here that typically I haven't even seen with some higher end subwoofers that I've used. I have a Sony one in the other room, and that doesn't even have all of these settings that you can kind of mess with to get more of an optimal sound depending on your preferences. So overall, I think if you're looking for just a nice standard subwoofer setup, this definitely would be a good way to go. It was very easy to get up and running and just simply connect it to my receiver and get some nice extra added bass. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video review, and hopefully you found this helpful.